9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
What's going on, good people? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to the Pro Fan Talk. My name is Marcus Thomas. Thank you for joining me as usual, all my people. First out the limo, I see my mom's in there. I see you, Vince. What's going on? Appreciate y'all. As you know, a lot of stuff been going on this week. The news cycle just kind of took an uptick again. You got CJ Gardner-Johnson talking grimy. We about to get ready for camp. You got Live or the British Open going on. Dallas Cowboys having issues. D-Hop doesn't go where everybody thought he was going to go. It just, the NFL is the gift that keeps on giving. So, but I'm definitely going to get right to it. I got a special guest on. Got my guy, G Cobb. He's going to jump on for a minute. And let me bring him in. Hold on for a second. G Cobb, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How you doing there?
I'm doing well, my friend. How you been?
Oh, doing great. I mean, I have been, running around. I've got kids and grandkids.
Yeah, you got the grandyoungins now, bro.
The grandkids are keeping me busy, but I'm ready for
no other
football.
way, right? Yeah.
What's that?
We less than I said when you talk about the grandkids, I said you wouldn't have it no other way. Keeping you busy.
That's right. I mean, they're fun. They're fun. They're
you can give them back.
They're just getting introduced to a lot of things, so they give you their reaction to different things and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's really, you almost relearn things because when they learn it, you just kind of go through another experience where you can laugh and have some fun. But I have a lot of fun with them.
Absolutely, man. And I tell you what, this summer has gone quite quickly, and we are what's next Tuesday? They report. They get back to NovaCare, and they're gonna get to it, man.
Well,
this was a quick off season, in my opinion.
With the way it ended, I think everybody's ready. They're ready to go down that road again. I think the team is ready to go down that road again, and I think the fans are ready to go down that road again because we didn't finish with a good taste in our mouth. Nah. I was out there for the game.
Yeah.
And on the plane back, every place where I was going, Eagles fans just reliving every play, and they couldn't let it go. I mean, because it's a game, you said, well, you know what? They outplayed them for such a long part of the game, but they didn't finish, and the defense came up short.
Yeah. And you talking about a bad taste in your mouth, man. I don't think I've watched the whole game. I've caught it on the NFL Network, and I've caught bits and pieces, but I haven't sat down and watched that whole game, man. It's rough, especially that second half, man. And woulda, coulda, shoulda don't do nothing but rhyme. And we had our opportunities, badge field withstanding.
Yeah.
It was just that was a tough one, but you want to say you gave it your best shot, but it's like, did we? Like, well, on defense, like, so, and then after that, all of the stuff with Gannon, the way that it played out, like, that didn't sit right. That was a little suspect. So,
that did. I left a bad taste, because you're going like, I mean, will you focus on the game? That's what you feel like.
Right.
Like putting Gannon up, going into a room and close the door. You focus on the game, man.
you can't do that right now because somebody will tweet about it and
kind of thing. But just asking him, regardless, hey man, like, and then when you think about it, to work so hard to get to that opportunity, I mean, you don't just blow it away. Now I understand he was looking at some outstanding offers, and looking at being a head coach, but.
Yeah, but you
got to be able to give that your best effort, and you would hope that he would have, and hopefully he did. I mean, I don't know all the background. We don't know the background of really what happened, but
right. because it could have just as been easy as this is where my focus is. If y'all want me to have a job, I'm gonna have a job. But you already know how difficult it is to get to that game. I don't care if you're a head coach. I don't care if you're a trainer. I don't care if you bringing out Gatorade off the sideline. It is difficult to get to that game, let alone win it. So you got to have 100% focus. And the fact that he will admittedly say, he was thinking about other things, that does not sit right, because it's got to be 110% with everything.
That's right, because it's so hard to get there. I mean, there have been great teams that come up short. I mean, you could have all the pieces in place. How do you think if you're San Francisco, the way they felt? Come on.
Yeah.
They had to feel, they had an outstanding team. But hey, they had those injuries at the wrong time. They didn't do the best job of protecting their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But they, they feel bad, and you got a number of them running their mouth, and Gardner Johnson, he's running his mouth talking about the field and everything. And nobody wants to hear about that.
Man, so here's the thing with that, because there's been a couple of situations after everything that went down, specifically coming from the 49ers camp, and I said Brandon Ayuk came out. He did something. He was doing Facebook Live or something. But this was about 2-3 weeks after the game. And my comment was, I don't mind that, because I understand what it's like to lose like that.
Yeah.
So right after the game, I get it. You don't like that feeling that you got. You don't like that taste in your mouth. So I get it. 4 months later, and y'all still whining about that?
Yeah, no, come on.
You got to let it go and keep it moving. And then you see the stuff with Gardner Johnson. It's like, okay, you had ample opportunity. It was all good until you overshot your market. It's not our fault. That was on you. We wanted to, because everybody in Philadelphia wanted to keep him. Didn't nobody want to let him walk, but
that's right.
He overshot his market, and it just didn't work out for him. So Howie made a different decision. And then he he feeling some kind of way. And then, every other, they want to jump on social media. And it's funny how all of this stuff starts now. They don't play us this year. So, okay, go ahead and get away with it. The only thing I can say with that is I remember, I kind of understand where you're coming from. I don't necessarily agree with it, but if you remember, right when he got hit, that's when he got his car stolen. You remember? So, yeah, I get it, but it's still bad for him.
And plus, and the thing is, he's a yapper, I mean.
Yeah, he is.
He really, whole time he was here, I mean, if I would go over there to practice or walking through there, it didn't matter what it was, he was running his mouth. So, he's one of those kind of guys. He's a guy that's going to express himself. And I really thought that, he did have a very good year for the Eagles, with the big plays. But the thing is, somebody got to do something in the Super Bowl. Somebody got to make a play. One play on defense.
Yeah.
Could we get one play on defense? I mean, one play?
One. Could nobody make that play? We couldn't get it. We couldn't get it. And we certainly couldn't get it when it mattered. So, and it ended up being a slugfest. And that one mistake cost us. That we had when Jalen Hurts fumbled the ball.
That's right.
And then we had, this is what I forgot.
What about the punt return too?
The punt return. The punt return is what killed us.
Now and I don't want to get all start going in different directions because I don't know which way you want to go. But man, our special teams, man, they were quick to re-sign the special team coach. I'm going like, whoa.
Yeah.
Y'all resign him?
I gave it to Arched Eyebrow too.
I mean,
yeah.
Bro, like, if I was a coach, I was a special team coach, I would be telling me, I say, hey, baby, look, don't be spending a lot of money.
It was bad, and that was something that we talked about. Hey,
we got to cut back on some things because I don't feel good about me being in this job next year. If I had a special teams the way our special teams was, meaning like it was, we dodged bullets all season
We did.
until the big game, and then it finally bit us.
We did. And guess what? People don't realize, especially as much as, we got this animosity for the Cowboys. People don't realize that we should have lost that Cowboys game. If it wasn't for Cavante Turpin losing his feet and falling down.
Yeah.
If he doesn't lose his feet, he goes in for I can't remember if it was a kickoff return or a punt return, but he would have scored. I think he tried to jump over somebody. I think he tried to jump over his own man, and he just fell to the ground. Didn't nobody really touch him. And if he keeps his feet, he scores, and that's a different ball game. And we probably lose that game against the Cowboys at home.
The special teams got a break last year because they weren't really called out.
No.
And usually in Philly, if you're stinking up the joint, you get called out.
Exactly.
I don't know what it is they had or whatever. Somebody's paying somebody, or I don't know what is going on.
I don't think
stinking up the joint all year long. Yeah. Meaning it was just a matter of time when they were gonna do something costly. And of course they waited until the final game of the season to stink up the joint and give up the longest punt return in NFL, in Super Bowl history.
Yep. And the whole thing, like I don't think Covey is the answer. I'm sure he's a good guy in the locker room.
That's right.
He's a fast kid, but he doesn't know how to punt return yet.
No, he just
they got to get somebody in there.
I mean, they did so much on offense and defense that they just basically outperformed the special teams to where you just covered it up. But the Eagles special teams are stinking up the joint all year. In fact, I'll be walking somewhere. I'm going, what is that smell? It's our special teams.
Special teams.
They stink.
It was bad, man. And I'm like, if the special teams coach, if that's Nick Sirianni's dude, so be it. But he's got to come correct. And this is a situation where you can't, because I know Sirianni is that type of dude.
Hey, if that's my boy, I gotta let him go.
Yeah, but my point is that Sirianni is that dude where the relationships mean a lot more than they should.
Like I said, I'll give my boy a different job, but I gotta get somebody in there to fix these special teams, man. Because you dodged bullets last year. People are going to be focused on them this year. Going, the way to beat the Eagles is through these special teams,
right?
And you cannot have special teams that bad. You could have better. You could have special teams middle of the road. But you can't have the worst special teams in the NFL. Come on.
My biggest fear for Sirianni was, and still is he the type of person that's going to let, because he is fiercely loyal to his people.
Yeah.
And I understand that, especially, you played before me, but same era. You had the Belichicks, Jimmy Johnson, Parcells. Those were the coaches that were known for having their guys, and they were loyal to their guys. Correct. But at the same time, they weren't afraid to cut somebody, to let somebody go and say, hey, I love you. This is not personal. This is business. You're not getting it done.
That's right.
And I'm hoping that Sirianni is not so fiercely loyal that he won't make those same decisions. We need him to make those decisions when it's time to make those decisions.
Well, and the thing is, this is not just talking about winning the division championship. See,
right?
That's not what we're talking about. This team is a Super Bowl caliber team.
Absolutely.
You can't be jiving around with that for your boy. You got to tell your boy, look, man, tell you what. How much were you making? Okay, I got you. Okay, don't worry, I got you. But homie, I cannot have you in here stinking up the joint with the worst special teams in the league, to where when we send our special teams out there, we're like this on the sideline. Is it over yet? Is it over yet?
You never know what you're gonna get. We got people.
Come on,
I knew our special teams was bad when we punted the ball into the wire, into the drone wire, the camera wire. I was like, we snake bitten when it comes to that, but we'll see what happens.
Very poor special teams, and
he had a whole off season to think about it and get it right. So let's just hope. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. but we'll see. But he gonna check if the special teams is bad this year as it was last year. They gonna hear about it very, very loudly from the Philadelphia faithful.
I think the fans are going to start calling people out because, as I said, he got a pass last year.
Yeah,
special team coach got a pass because usually Philly's usually on you pretty quick once you start thinking of the joint. They're going like,
yeah.
Then all of a sudden, you were wondering like, who's that? Oh, you know who that is? That's such and such, man. He's horrible.
Yeah, they'll get on you
they
quick,
look back
man,
and
but...
see that it played a role in us losing that game.
Absolutely. Well, now they just signed Kelee Ringo, so you got all your draft picks signed. Yeah. And of course, before he got signed, everybody was kind of getting worried. And when people don't have answers, they try to make stuff up. So everybody was injecting what they thought was the problem with Kelee Ringo. Why isn't he signed? He wanted to do this. I even thought, well, maybe he's trying to get money for where he should have gotten drafted instead of where he did and stuff. And we just, if there's nothing there, you try to make something up. At the end of the day, the deal got done when it needed to get done. It was no crazy circumstances. I had heard stuff that he had personal issues and family issues. I heard a whole bunch of stuff, but at the end of the day, it was none of that. Sometimes they just take longer than others. That's the bottom line. But everybody signed. We got all of our pieces on the board. And the one thing I'm looking at now, especially with Gardner Johnson gone, we still have a very, very good secondary with youthful depth. We've got youthful depth back there, and that puts us in a good spot because the one thing that I think people forget about is how good Avonte Maddox was last year before he got hurt in that Dallas game.
That's right.
And he was balling because remember that was the game they got lucky with the 3rd and 30 or whatever it was. He had Dak Prescott dead to rights and he just missed the sack. I guess he was trying to go for a strip.
Yeah, you're right. He did.
Never got him
back. Sack. You're right.
Yeah, but he ended up getting that. But he got hurt that game. But before then, he was playing lights out.
Yeah,
he was. So our secondary is tight. So now we still got those three. Now you got Sidney Brown. Reed Blankenship was much better than anybody ever thought he was going to be. Correct. And as far as I'm concerned, pencil him in as free safety number 1. He earned it. He might not be the fastest kid in the world, but he plays very, very smart.
Yep.
Keep him back there because he earned that spot. And then you got wherever they decide to play Kelee Ringo. Kelee Ringo is 6'2" with 4.3 speed. So you can't beat that type of size. So you got Kelee Ringo and you got Sidney Brown. So, and if not for nothing else, both of them are not going to start. So one of them, back to our special teams talk, one of them is going to be on special teams. So you get that extra speed and that size on special teams. So I think we'll be.
Well, they have the talent to have good special teams. I mean, they've got some quality athletes. They just got to get that kind of mentality to where we go down, we make plays. You're doing the study what the other team does and things. And, you got to look at that just like, you check out offense and defense, man. You got to do your homework.
Yep.
And if you do your homework, there's no reason you should have awful special teams. If you got guys that are as fast as the other team, as strong as the other team, which they have good athletes,
we'll know in 4 weeks.
You got to prepare. I mean, and that's the thing about the NFL. You have to do your homework. Playing linebacker in the league for years, you got to do your homework, man. You can't be just out there playing athletically and not doing the mental work and saying, okay, let me look at this formation. This is what they like doing out of this formation. I'm going to study it. I know what they like doing out of that formation. How often do they give the ball to this guy? Who does he like to throw the ball to in this situation? And what plays do they like to run on this down and distance? You got to do all that homework. And that's what really the NFL is about. If you're not doing the homework like that, you're not a professional. You're playing college ball or high school football. And you can't play like that on the NFL level because the talent is such that if you're giving and don't have any idea about what a team is going to run out of a certain formation, they come out and what they like to do, then you're just playing on athletic ability. And sometimes athletic ability is not going to win for you. So
gotta watch
you got
that
to
tape.
do your
man.
homework.
Gotta watch that tape. What do you think about being the linebacker yourself? What do you think about Nakobe Dean?
Well, I talked to Nakobe Dean. First of all, the kid is smart.
Yeah.
And,
I like
and I think that's going to be, right away, that's a big plus right there. The kid is very bright. He understands formations. He understands, looking at teams, their habits. He understands the difference between the college game and the pro game. What are teams trying to do right now? Looking at the transition of what's happening in the NFL. Offenses, what do they like to do? How they like to spread teams out now. All those type of things. So he has the smarts. I know he's somewhat undersized, but because of his intelligence, I think he's going to be fine. Of course, you got to see him go in there and do it, but he definitely has the mental acuity to be a very good player. Meaning he knows the mental part of it, and because a lot of times that is just is ignored. And on the NFL level, I'm sorry, you cannot be stupid.
Nah,
some guys
especially
might not be
especially a linebacker.
book knowledge, but they've got good acuity and they're able to put reasoning together. But you gotta have something up here if you're gonna be a good player. Especially if
linebackers are the quarterbacks,
playing,
defensive quarterbacks,
linebacker, defensive back. You're playing, or the wide receiver position, different positions where you got to be able to think some. And he clearly has that. So I think he's gonna do well. I don't have the most confidence in the other guys there. Nicholas Moreau from the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Here you got a guy who is a converted safety. He really has played 1 year at linebacker in the NFL. Where he's played linebacker and started and played 1 year. So he's still learning. He probably has got a good feel for the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
But, the running game, just haven't played 1 year, and that defense in Chicago was horrible. They didn't stop they didn't even slow people down. By the time they got everybody into the stadium, they were already down 14-0.
Yeah, but I think you also got to remember, I believe he's going to be the translator for Sean Desai. So somebody that's familiar with that defense, with the scheme and what's going on, because of the time with Chicago. So I think that would be a big help. Plus, my dark horse, like somebody that nobody's talking about, and I mentioned this kid the last 3 weeks. I think Christian Ellis is going to surprise a lot of people.
Well, now Christian Ellis was showing. Christian Ellis was showing out there at the practices. I tell you this during the offseason. I was out there, and every day I was out there, the kid was making plays. So he's got a good feel for the game, and he's got a real good feel, in pass defense, because he picked off a couple passes, and you see he's a good athlete, a good feel for the game. So I was impressed with what I saw of him out there during the offseason.
Yeah, I think our linebackers, because we don't have no big names yet, I think they're going to be underestimated. But, and I've said this before on my show, I think Nakobe Dean is going to have everybody pissed off at Jonathan Gannon even more, because people are going to be like, why didn't you play him more last year? I think he's going to be that good. And like I said about Christian Ellis, so I think our linebackers are going to be set, just because, and to your point with Nick Moreau, he might not be the best player, but because he already knows the defense and he's got better players around him. Because I looked at the stats. Let me see. Let me find my notes. I looked this up on purpose we blitzed. I can't find it now. There we go. The last 3 seasons, 2021 and 22, the Bears blitzed 39% of the time in 2020, 37.6 in 21, but only 27% last year. But that was probably because they lost Khalil Mack. And then when you compare them with the Eagles in 2020, we blitzed 35%. In 21, we only blitzed 29%. And then last year, 22, it's got it listed as 34.4%. But for some reason, I'm thinking that's high. But so the numbers are a little bit higher on Chicago's side, but we got players. They had Khalil Mack. We got Hassan Reddick and BG. I don't think BG is going to lose a step, especially after what I saw last year. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised how well he plays again, because if there was ever a year that you're supposed to play bad as a aging veteran, it's after you come off of Achilles tendon surgery after missing a year. It was a daggone shame that they didn't get that man comeback player of the year. That was highway robbery. It was a shame, and whoever's voting on that award, they need to not be able to vote anymore. That was an absolute shame that he didn't win that award. So our defensive line, and I love to see that big man in the middle, Jordan Davis, is down like 30 pounds, coming off the ball a little bit quicker. And I want to see him and Jalen Carter lined up side by side and just go to work.
Yeah, well, the big thing with him is the whole thing with stamina. Because you can give you a lot, in 2 plays, and then, he had been used to being taken out. But, I can see that he was working out. They say he's really been working out during this offseason and everything. But so I expect, more out of him, and that, he can be a dominant player, because he's virtually impossible to block, against the run. I mean, and then he's developing his pass rush. Now, Jalen Carter has the combination of, he got all the combination you want, which is he's got the power to run over you. He's got the speed to run around you, and he's got quick hands and everything. He's got the whole package. If he will get in, and I heard he's working good and everything. So they get those guys playing at the level that they're capable of playing at. They're going to have something, because they like to get in that bear front where they get the 5 defensive linemen. So they make all of the offensive linemen, all of them are one-on-one. Now, a lot of them don't want to block anybody one-on-one. They're used to getting help all the time. So they get in that bear front, and a lot of times they're able to get guys blocking one-on-one that don't really block one-on-one a lot. So, I think some of the younger guys are really going to blossom. Like Milton Williams, all those guys, they're going to get opportunities to play. And I think they're going to get the same kind of rotation they had last year, which is you got guys staying fresh and everything, and you're going to have a team that's going to get a lot of sacks, because they're going to score a lot of points. They got an offense that's explosive and very difficult to stop. So they're going to score points. So you got to throw the ball, and they're going to get a lot of sacks, because you got to throw the ball against them. You're trying to come back. They know you got to throw, and they've got guys that are going to be getting in one-on-one situations. So sack a dilly.
Absolutely. Hold that thought, G. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to hit you with the Philly sports trips. So hold tight.
Hey Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
We're in a break right now.
Yep, there we go. We good. So, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the one thing I wanted to say especially about our defensive line. Jordan Davis, with him losing the weight, I just mentioned that he dropped 30 pounds. With him losing that weight, is he going to be able to stay on the field, pass and run? That's going to make a huge difference. But you ain't got to keep pulling him out because he's huffing and puffing. And I think that's going to be the biggest difference. So you can, the lineups, you can do, it's not necessarily an endurance thing. You can get the size matchups depending on who we playing against, what offensive line and all of that kind of stuff. But Jordan Davis is somebody you want on the field, hovering over that center as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, and then he's a great when it comes to the power rush. Where you just push that center back into the quarterback's face, and the quarterback, what does he got to do? When they get in that 5-man front, it's very difficult, for a quarterback to, especially unless he's very mobile, to get out of there. He's got to throw the ball, and the big guy, Big Jordan, all he needs to do is push that center back in the quarterback's face and get your hands up. Right away, they can't throw the ball over the middle.
Right.
So, but I expect him to continue to progress. Like he's really learning how to pass rush.
Yeah.
He's got the ingredients you need. He's got the long arms. He got the quick feet and everything. But you got to have a game plan. And so he's learning that, and a lot of these things you already see in Jalen. Jalen Carter already has a lot of these ingredients, and he's got the power and the speed and all that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they develop together, because I also think a lot of times, when you get in a situation where you got somebody that is a good friend of yours, they become a competitor too. You're competing
Absolutely.
with them. So it's going to be great for both of them to be in an environment where they're kind of competing with each other. It brings out the best in you.
Absolutely. And I've said this before. People don't really understand when you are a rookie going into camp, the best thing you can have on your side is somebody that you know. If somebody that you went to school with, that you played against, it goes down in layers. The top pick is to have somebody that's your teammates, which is the situation they got now. The next is it could be just somebody that y'all from the same hometown, or you played each other in college. As long as you have some type of familiarity, that is extremely helpful when you in that stressful situation as a rookie, heck, even an undrafted rookie.
That's right.
In a football camp. So now you got all of these, the whole, Philadelphia Bulldogs or Georgia Eagles, whatever you want to call them.
That's right.
People don't understand how much of a help that is to have the two best players on your national championship defense on your team. And it looks like the captain of that defense is probably going to be the leader of your defense at linebacker. He's going to be running the show. And just to be able to have that familiarity, I don't think people give that enough credence, because most people don't really understand how stressful it is for a rookie to be in the camp. I don't care if you're a draft pick or not. That is stressful. And to be able to, the workload you got to deal with, the mental strain you got to deal with, learning, I can't say the playbook. When you get that iPad full of books now, that full of plays now, that's a lot to throw on your plate, and you got to get it now, because if you that high draft pick, they paying you that money, and they want to make sure they're getting their money's worth. So to have friends around you, and to your point, competitors that can help lift you up, put you in the right place, point you in the right direction. Because I remember very vividly. Now I know my experience may have been different from yours, because I was not drafted. I was an undrafted free agent, and it was veterans. I ain't gonna mention no names, but it was veterans who were telling me to go to run the wrong play, run the wrong route, all that kind of stuff, man. And it was ugly. That's how me and Vaughn Hebron got close, because me and Vaughn Hebron were both rookie running backs, both undrafted, and we both made the team. That never happens.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a couple situations like that where the vets at the time were telling us to go the wrong way, and it was like, we got to do this ourselves. So, but saying all that to say, to have a friend in there is good, man.
I know we had coaches that would always talk about guys' brother-in-law and each other, where, guys get in the middle of, whatever, the practice, whatever, and start getting, okay, you win this one, I win that one, blinking, sending signals, telling the other team got to play.
Yeah.
And so we had coaches say, look, if I catch anybody brother-in-law and anybody in here, because that's what they call it, brother-in-law.
That's what they called it.
You taking care of your boy, but telling him, and you let him win one play, then he lets you win the next play. So you're really not competing. You're just kind of doing a dance, So the coaches would find that, and a lot of times these are older guys who, they were taking it easy in practice and stuff. So
yeah,
it's so different now, though, man. Things down through the days with guys and we're playing the games. But I tell you what, these Eagles, they do a pretty good job of competing with each other. They do compete because they don't practice that long.
No.
But what they do, everybody's doing it full go. And that's the way Nick, Sirianni pretty much preaches. And it is the best way to practice. I mean, and then they're not out there that long. We used to be out there 2.5, 3. I mean,
dude, we used to bang, man. We'd
be
bang
hitting the whole time. You're right.
Oh my God, man! You hear that whistle? 11 on 11 team drill.
That's right.
And they would be the ones against the twos, and,
that's right.
And they would flip flop.
A coach would say, "Oh, so you guys don't want to practice today, huh? You want to go to the motion? Okay, we starting all over. Oh, man.
Start it again.
It be hot like it's been for the last while, and you going like, "Are you kidding me? We get ready to start all the way over."
You don't miss the bus. You got to walk down that long hill at Westchester, and then you got to nah, man. And like they blow that whistle, like, what the F are y'all doing? Like, do it. Start over.
That's right.
Start it over. Play number one. Or they used to get us because I'm a rook, and we run a team. So bring that rookie in here. This is the play we running. This is where it's going. This is what you're supposed to do. So they set me up for a headshot, because they don't want to get the vets. They ain't gonna stick Herschel or Heath Sherman in there. So put one of them rookies in there.
That's right.
Get your head blowed off, man. It was crazy.
I remember them doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, you guys, I want to see you guys get to the ball, and run that play again.
Run it again.
Know what the play was.
Exactly. No secrets. No secrets. So, do it right. So
they got to go tear up whoever's got that ball. So the coach say, okay, all right, now that's better.
Get him off the ass, yeah. But but I always say, because I always make this joke, and I always say, like, now they don't have two-a-days, they have new-a-days because they don't hit. No, and my thing is like everything they do now at camp now, everything is mental reps. Reps. Because they can't bang. And it's to me, at least in my estimation, it is very difficult to evaluate a player if you're not going full tilt, at least a little bit, so you can see what you got.
Hey, the guy's only chance to make the team is during the games. Other than that,
games.
During practice, they're not doing anything, and now I will say this, during the season, a lot of times, I thought times we over practice because who's going to hit and who's not going to hit.
Exactly.
And a lot of times mentally being able to know exactly what you're supposed to do and everything, and being able to do that is going to be the key. And you really learn to get that. And so I kind of like, the way some of the things they do now, because, we hit each other more than anybody else. I mean, we beat up our own guys. And a lot of times I feel bad because I know fullbacks, guys that were banging their heads coming in, hitting. I was playing linebacker. And some of those guys, man, they got CTE, man, and they're out of here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We knew they were coming, man. We're going to I'm going to put a hammer right up under your chin. Boom.
And when I was there,
all those hits,
When I was with the Birds, we had Zeke Brakowski. He was the OC, and Dick Woods was the running back coach.
Yeah.
And they ran that offense where you didn't have a running back. You had an A back and a B back, right? The A back was on the weak side, the B-back was on the strong side. So you could be either one, but for me, I always seem to end up on that strong side, which means I was the fullback. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, at that time, I'm like 205 pounds, and I got to look at Clyde Simmons, and I got to look at, all of them guys. And I'm like, what am I going to do trying to stop Seth coming through the hole? What am I going to do with him? You know what I'm saying? So
that's right.
Nah, like it is better. I feel like the old school guy, like the get off my lawn guy, the old head. But you're absolutely right, man. Especially with CTE and everything, the way things go. We laugh at them because they wear them soft helmets. But hey, at the end of the day, if it's helping, and when they turn 50 and 60 years old, if they still got the marbles up there, then so be it. So
that's
the way the game's evolved.
That's what makes you feel bad when you see a guy who is getting up there and he doesn't even know where he's at or whatever. And, that's not what you want for anybody, we did so much hitting where we look over there and going, I know you coming over here, man. I already, hey, he's coming over here. So you
coming.
You know where right the play is going. And he got to run in there and put his head down and take that hammer up on his chin and head buckle and stuff, So, but we did a lot of hitting. The coaches believed in hitting back then. Yeah. And we did a lot of hitting. So it was just that simple.
Yeah, it was one play could make you or break you. But also that one play could have everybody at practice looking at you like that was a good play. You always had one shot to make a play.
Yeah, that's right. And I look at the team now, and you see. I mean, look at Fletcher Cox. So many older guys still playing. Of course, Jason Kelsey. All those guys getting up in the years, and they if they can keep on playing. I mean, because they're not getting worn out because of the practice.
Exactly.
Those guys can keep on playing, and I'm happy for them because the way we practice. The older guys, man, we had guys, in fact, when I was playing for Buddy Ryan, we had guys just left. I mean, they took their stuff off and these are veteran players. They going like, look, man, I can't take this, man. And I'm going like, man, you're not leaving, are you? They're gone. I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Listen, I saw that one time. I was in camp in Jacksonville. I was at Camp Coughlin. With Tom Coughlin, with the first year Coughlin was down there. I was in camp with Jacksonville. And Ernest Givens was down there, the receiver. And I remember him saying, he said, man, I can't, I'm too old for this. I come down here to play, man. I ain't trying to beat myself up in practice and in camp. Yeah. He said, I'm too old for this, man. And I don't think he lasted through camp. Hey. He was like, I'm not doing this.
Hey, so we had guys, like I said, they just, and then of course, guys would play the game with, playing hurt. Now guys start playing hurt. Of course.
Play hurt. Hey, why don't you see if you can go? Why don't you see if you can jog at practice today? And everybody knew the minute you got back on that field.
That's right.
When you came back in, your locker was packed up. And you got your slip, man. I remember that. We had a couple guys like that too, man. So
yeah,
but it's so different now, man. It's this era of football. They got so many things to worry about, and it's funny because even though everybody mentions his name with disdain, and rightfully so, that Chip Kelly era, when they started that thing with the nutrition, and everybody had shakes at particular times of the day, and they used to do their practice was very, very regimented. And as much as we didn't like him, that was kind of the onset of that type of practice for saving your body and getting through the long haul of the season. And of course, the NFL don't care. They don't give a damn because what do? Add another game. So that kind of stuff comes more into play now. And that filters all the way down to college and what they're doing in high school. I saw a thing the other day where I don't know if it was Oklahoma, I think. They followed, it was a production, but they followed this kid around, and this kid had like 10 meals in a day with a nutritionist walking behind him. Here's your shake, here's your sandwich, here's your snack, here's your 5 o'clock snack, your 7 o'clock. Like, they had it down to a science.
Yeah.
And the resources that these players have now, man, we were lucky when we got oranges at halftime. Now they get all of this kind of stuff, what you eat, when you eat.
That's right.
All that kind of stuff, man.
You
We
know,
did it the hard way.
doing all these things, it really kind of, to me, the way one of the key things with the Eagles, with everything is Jalen Hurts, because he works.
Absolutely.
During the offseason, he's working, he's lifting, and he's running, and and if your quarterback is working like that, then you got to work. You cannot
Absolutely
get away.
Absolutely.
When the leader, the guy that that's the quarterback, and he's working hard like that. That's one of the good things the Eagles have going for them, is that because of the way Jalen Hurts works, everybody got to work. And,
he's steering the ship.
And I imagine, I haven't seen him do this, but I know he calls guys out if they're not.
Yeah.
And with that being the case, that's the way you have the whole group. Everybody's working hard, and they do. And so they're not out there a whole long time, but when they're out there, boom, practice starts right away. It's at a high pace, and they're going from one drill to the next. And you see a lot of the things are based on being quick, because the game's going to be played fast. Nobody's going through the motion in the game. Everything's going to be quick. So you got to be able to recognize what's going on and make the proper reaction. And they're not taking anybody all the way down to the ground on tackles and that sort of thing. But everything is quick, it's sharp. And that's why I think they've had success with that, because they do things at a high speed, even though they're not out there beating each other up with the tackling.
Yeah, man, and it seems like at least the optics of it is that everybody else in the league recognizes what Jalen Hurts is.
Yeah,
they recognize what this kid has inside. They know he has talent. He surpassed whatever expectations you had. Because I remember before last season, my prediction was I don't need Jalen Hurts to be great. I just need him to be good and consistent. And he blew all of those expectations out of the water. And the way he carried himself and everything that he's done has been on the money, and everybody else is seeing it. Anytime you get people, I saw when Ndamukong Suh was on the Rich Eisen show, and he was talking about how much he liked Jalen Hurts and the way the kid works and comparing him with Tom Brady and all of that kind of stuff. Whenever they put you in those type of categories, in other players, especially veteran players, talk about you in that type of way, now you can understand what it means to be like a destination franchise. That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
Because I know this kid's got it. I know this coach has got it. I know they're headed in the right direction. And this is my best opportunity to possibly win a championship. And that's what we are right now. And Jalen Hurts is driving the ship.
That's definitely what they have. And then, they've got other players. They got a good group of guys who want to be great players. I mean, A.J. Brown, I see the way he competes in practice, and you need some good old fashioned, competition, just like, I know the way Scottie Pippen been talking about Michael Jordan, but they would compete in practice. See?
Yeah.
But that's what you need if you want to be a great team. You can't be just playing the games where you're going through the motions and all that stuff. No, there's got to be good competition, and so that's what they get. They've got guys that compete, that like to compete against each other, and that's what makes them better. And I know they were talking about how A.J. Brown is getting better as a route runner because he's looking at Devontae Smith, because Devontae Smith is the ultimate route runner.
Yeah.
But a guy like A.J. Brown who looks like a tight end. Well, standing over by him, I'm going like, this dude's a tight end, man. Come on, man. You ain't on no wide receiver.
Huge. To be that big and that fast?
Because of his size and the speed and everything, they can just keep getting better and better. And I think, with that kind of attitude, who knows how high they could go. But they're definitely going after it. And, they're still hungry. You can tell it. You go over there by the team, you tell. Ain't nobody celebrating anything. We're not celebrating,
Right.
No, we expect to win. So a lot of times you're going to see this year, they're going to come off the field after a win and just walk on in there. Ain't nobody celebrating nothing because they don't want
we got the right temperament and the right personalities for this, man. Yep. Because as far as you got somebody that's kind of cool, calm, and collected like Jalen Hurts. Then on the flip side, you got Slay. And then you got BG, who's very loud and boisterous. And
Slay
then you
never
got
shuts up.
Right. And but the opposite of that, then you got Bradberry. Really don't say much. He just goes out there and balls out.
You're right. They are the ultimate two corners. You're right. Because Bradberry, you could go in the locker room and you're going like, does he talk?
Yeah.
And Slay don't ever shut up.
Slay is Slay.
Yeah. So they do have the different personalities. You're right.
I don't think as good as he was last year. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Slay gets enough credit for being as good, and I don't think Slay gets enough credit for being as fast as he is. And I noticed that all the way last preseason when we had that scrimmage with the Dolphins, and he jumped up there and ran with Tyreek Hill. And the only reason, that's the one where he got they got their feet tangled up and he came out hobbling. Yeah, he was running with Tyreek Hill stride for stride. And I said, I had to go back and watch that tape. I was like, I didn't realize he was that fast. So
I didn't realize he was that fast either.
Yeah, man. And for him to do that and to be able to hang with Tyreek Hill, then you got Bradberry, and now you got Kelee Ringo, who's another 4.37 guy. I think Slay was more like a 4.32. He was low 4.3s. I'm sure he's lost a step now that he's 30 plus years old, but still, he can still move. And I think Kelee Ringo is going to pick up that slack. Avonte Maddox should have led the team in interceptions had he not gotten hurt. That's what I think.
Maybe, but remember, C.J. Gardner-Johnson got hurt quite a bit too. And
he did.
He had 6 picks. So they both could have had a lot of picks because you're right. Avonte got his hands on balls.
He got but for whatever reason, I don't know what it was with our defense last year. I would like to go back and look at how many picks we dropped.
Yeah,
Slay should have had about 6 or 7.
Yeah, they dropped picks. You're right.
They dropped a lot of picks.
They dropped some picks. You're right.
So if we can tighten all of that stuff up, we're going to have the opportunity to do that. Like we were talking before, the pressure we're going to get with our defensive line. And not for nothing, man, with what Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham is going to do on those edges, they're going to force the quarterback to have to step up. And the big important thing that people don't really realize is when you can get a quarterback out of his throwing lanes and mess up his line of sight, that's when you make things happen. Because he got to step up in the pocket, and then he's got to move again to make sure he's seeing what he needs to see. And that's when we have an opportunity to get hands on him, because everything is coming from that outside, so we can't just stay back there and be still. We too fast for that. Way too fast. So
correct.
I think our defense is going to be just as deadly. I don't think we're going to get as many sacks as we did last year. That's just hard to do. But I think we'll be up there with 60-something sacks, and that's a good place to be. And we already know what our offense is. I think that this year that we have the opportunity for Jalen Hurts to have more passing attempts, and also we have more rushing attempts with the running backs, not the RPOs. We got to cut the RPOs in half and let Jalen Hurts throw the ball a little bit more, because he can throw the ball. He's proven that he can carve you up in the air. So we got to do that.
I want to see them take the ball out of his hands when it comes to running. I don't want to see him running as much. I mean, because it's such a huge risk. That it's not really worth it, especially when you got as good as an offensive line as you have, and
absolutely
you got all these weapons where the defense is pulling their hair out of their head. They got to stop all these guys, and And then when you get DeAndre Swift, who is outstanding at coming out of that backfield running routes, he's a great screen runner. So that's going to be more headaches for the other team. They're going like, oh man, they're thinking about pass back. All of a sudden, it's a screen to Swift, and I'm telling you, the boy's terrible. I mean, he put on a little clinic for the Eagles last year.
Yes, he did.
When they played him. So you got all these weapons. I mean, all these guys to stop. I just want to see them cut back on how much Jalen is running the ball, because don't even need to run that risk. Let him throw the ball from the pocket. They're going to come out like they did last year, really, which is they're attacking you at the start of the game. They want to build the lead, and then in the second half, they'll run the ball to run out the clock or whatever. But they've got a lot of weapons, man. I tell you. Whew. Yeah. And of course, it all rolls around Jalen, and he's seeing the field so much better. He's getting rid of the ball so quickly. He makes great decisions.
Yeah.
And his accuracy was tremendous. So I can't say enough about the improvements he made last year. It's amazing. But the guy works. It's not like it happened to him when he was walking down the street and somebody said, "Oh, we're gonna put this dust on you, and that's gonna make you a better player." No, dude is putting in the work.
Yes, sir. Who's your starting running back?
Swift. I think who knows? As the season goes along, you could end up seeing more and more of Rashad Penny, because he is a bruising back. He's the one go in there and get it. Swift is more or less. Still think he could end up. They could wind up with Penny being, it depends on what they want to do, because, Swift is a guy who's a great running back. He's great running routes out of the backfield. He is a breakaway. He's going to break a big run. Penny's got good speed, but, he's that inside tough runner. So I'm going to be, I'll be interested to see how they do. I think it's going to be mixed up. I think they're going to utilize both of them depending on what they want to do. And
I agree with you, but I think if it was me, I would start Gainwell. I would start Gainwell because he's earned it.
Okay.
He's the only running back that's not coming off an injury.
Yep.
He can catch the ball. He's got explosive speed. He's shown you he can run tackle to tackle. He can be an inside threat, because he ran tackle to tackle better than Miles Sanders did.
Yeah, no, he did, and that's why they took Miles out in the Super Bowl. I mean,
the Super Bowl,
start off the game taking everything outside. Look, going like, man, Miles, man, there's 5 yards right. Get the 5.
Get the 5.
Taking it outside,
north south,
trying to go, want a 50-yard run. Look, get those 5 yards, man.
North south, and I just think Gainwell, he's another one that might become a victim of his name is not big enough. And I'm like, if you look at what he did when he was at Memphis, couldn't nobody else get on the field. This kid makes stuff happen when he's on the field, and you got to take advantage of that. Now, I agree with you. I think they're going to start Swift.
Yeah.
But me looking at it from a running back's perspective, Gainwell has earned his time on that field, and they need to let him.
Yeah,
he
really has. But I just kind of think where I could see where they can utilize him in a lot of different ways, and he did earn his way. Like even last year, where they wind up going with Gainwell, because look, he's the one that's giving us production. We don't need,
that's what it comes down to.
We don't need conversation. We want yards, and he hits it up in there, man. He don't be playing around. If it's there, he's gonna get it.
Yeah.
And
my
Miles,
buddy Vince,
too many times taking it outside. Start the Super Bowl right away, dude. What do you do?
Yeah, and he should have lost that. He fumbled that ball too.
Yeah,
we got lucky in that. Hey, my buddy Vince wants to know what are your feelings on the Lions? Are they going to take another step this year?
I think they're going to take another step forward. Yeah, I do. I think they got they got a lot of good football players. I think that their defense is getting better offensively. So I think they're going to, they're going to be battling, to make the playoffs, I think.
We don't have to see them, so we don't have to see or hear Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, because they're probably going to do something else that's probably crazy.
Well,
But
he's never gonna shut his mouth. So
never gonna shut up. But you know what? I ain't got a problem if you talk smack, but you can back it up.
that's true.
I ain't got. Listen, I'm from Cincinnati, so
Yeah.
Ocho Cinco, all of that kind of stuff. As long as you can back it up,
as long as you can back it up, that's right.
What you say? So,
because if somebody is coming with it, I mean, they got a right to talk.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yep. But we are in a good spot, man. I'm excited. Are you going to the alumni game this year?
Oh yeah, I'll be there, no doubt about it. Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna. This will be my
in fact,
first
I
one
was just
in
I just got that
4
email.
years.
Yep, I'll be.
Yeah,
there.
I got mine too from Brian.
Yeah.
So it'll be good, man. So, but we are about done, my friend. We only roll an hour, man. That went quick, man. It was a good conversation, brother. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
It's fun. Of course, talking about things I'm going to be somewhere talking about it anyway.
Yep. You already know it, but it's about to get ramped up. We've been tired of waiting, tired of speculating and all this kind of stuff. Now we can get to camp and see what's what. Enough of the nonsense. So,
let's get this party started.
Absolutely, man. But I appreciate you joining me, man. We'll definitely have to do this again when the season starts. Are you doing anything during the season? Are you gonna be like at one of the casinos, or you got something lined up?
People right now. I'll definitely be doing some things during the season. Of course, I do a show for Fox. We do a pregame show every Sunday. Comes on at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, so you can check that out on Fox 29. The Eagles pregame show at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. You can always check me out there, but I'll be doing some other things too.
That's what's up. All right, y'all heard it here first. G Cobb was in the building. Great conversation, man. I appreciate everybody for jumping on board with me. It has been a crazy. I didn't even get a chance to talk about my live golf, but we're gonna do that next time. Mm-hmm. So after the British, we'll talk about that next week after the tournament is done. But it's gonna be Eagles all the time after next week because everybody's excited. To G Cobb's point earlier, after that bad taste in our mouth, we are ready to get it started again and get this process started. I know Jalen Hurts is going to be hot and heavy, ready to rock and roll. And let's put us in front. What's your prediction?
Well, I see them being record. Like something like 13-4 or something like that.
Okay, I got 12-5. I got 12-5.
I see something in that kind of range, and I think that they're going to be focused on those playoffs because. Once you get there and you go through that whole thing, they know what they want and they know what it's all about. And when they've got a peak,
and they know how
they got a peak at the end,
right?
And so, I think that's what they're after. There's no doubt about it. They taste it and they want it.
I'm not putting as much stock into the difficulty level of our schedule because. The way I'm taking it as, why is everybody saying our record is not going to be as good because our schedule is harder? And I'm like, did you guys not see the draft that we just had?
Yeah.
Do you guys think the Eagles did not get better? And you got every team in the league going through the same issues. You got injuries and all that kind of stuff. So I don't buy too much into that. We are still the team to beat. I still think we're going to take the NFC East. And we're going to go into playoffs. But to your point, you got to stay healthy, man. You got to stay healthy in the late game. And that's how you get it done. So, but we're going to get up out of here. I appreciate everybody for joining me. Great conversation. We're going to do this again. We're going to hit it up when the season starts. I'm going to get you on again. And we're going to do some things. And appreciate everybody for joining me. See you guys next week. If you come back next week, bring a friend. You guys have a good week. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.